Hi guys, we are back for another KTT Kids show. I'm going to let our host today, who is the kid version of hosting, Rilee Schoff, coming to us from Maine, right? You're in Maine, Rilee?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And she is here. We gave all of our initial kid hosts, the option to tell us what pros they would like to interview if given the chance. And they all kind of gave us different answers. But Lori Dool was top of Miss Rilee's list to get the chance to talk to and ask some questions. So I'm going to let her do that. I'm going to stay on, but I'm going to kind of let Rilee take the lead. So here we are. We have Rilee Schoff, KTT host, and we have Lori Dool coming to us from Florida, ACL pro lady player. Thanks both of you for coming on tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so honored to have gotten picked.
Yep, you're the first person I thought of because I remembered you talking to you in Battle of the Queens. So I'm like, she's the person, I gotta talk to her.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for picking me.
So you guys have met in person before? And that was where did you say that was?
Battle of the Queens when in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
We did. We got to warm up together.
Fun. Well, so what kind of questions do you have for her, Miss Rilee? What are some of the things you're aching to ask her?
So first, how did you start playing cornhole, and why did you want to start playing cornhole? Because I started in my backyard, so like, where did you start playing?
So I started playing cornhole when I was in college, just for kind of the fun and the sport. And I really like football, so it kind of goes hand in hand with tailgate parties and getting ready for that big game. So that's where I started playing, but I really didn't start playing competitively until about 4 years ago. And I got to meet Davis and Rosie Streaker, and they were the ones who kind of got me involved in playing competitively and kind of showed me the ropes of, how to play and what bags to pick and where to go and how to get better and how to continue to, be a competitive player. And here I am. They helped me to become a pro. So it's been a fantastic ride. And I just really like playing cornhole because I get the opportunity to play, to travel, to meet great people, and to be competitive. That's my number one favorite thing.
So do you still like play with Rosie Streaker like for fun besides like playing her competitively?
Nope, I've only played her competitively. Maybe, with different like backyard parties and just like some fun events, but for the most part, competitively. We're both pretty competitive.
So I know you throw.
I gotta stop and ask. Hey, Rilee, scale of 1 to 10, how competitive would you say you are?
Sorry. I like to get pretty competitive sometimes. It depends on who I like to throw against when I start playing, because if it's someone I know, it's like I don't try like really, really hard because they're like easy or something. I really start trying my best when it's someone really hard and I'm doing it for like to win and everything. Like big tournaments.
Yes, I always try and win, but it is very difficult to play against people that you're friends with because you just want to have a fun time and get to hang out with your friends. So it's really hard to stay competitive when you're playing those people, but
yeah, that's why I like to throw bags that I don't love throwing with. So it makes it a little fair. So you're still throwing your local bags, right?
No, so this season I am sponsored by Swag Bags, which they are also out of South Florida. So I throw Swag Bag Shazams, which those are fun to say. And I also throw Rubies, which are the same bag, just a little bit faster.
Well, I used to throw Surefires, but I'm sponsored by Dash Bags right now. So I have to throw their bags in every open and tournament. So this is kind of new for me. I'm not really excited.
Yeah, so can we talk about that? Because I'm fascinated by this as somebody who's not nearly has the talent that you guys do or competes on the competitive level that you probably both do. When you transition to a bag, which a lot of players will, because they get a sponsorship or whatnot, you kind of almost have to like you have these new bags that you don't even you've never even tried before, but you're kind of going into the commitment. So like, first of all, what goes into y'all's decision-making process when it comes to like, is this even a bag I'd want to throw? And then what is your process for like readjusting your game to play on point with these new bags?
Yeah, I want to get them broken in before to see how they're gonna feel for me, because I like bags in the middle floppy. I put them in the dryer so that I'd get started so that they won't be so bulky. And I throw kind of hard, so every time I throw it, it like bounces. So I'm gonna try to do it smooth, and if I can do that for the next, I don't know, couple of days or something, I'll be all good.
Couple of days, that's all it's going to take you, Rilee, to transition. That's awesome. You guys live in a different world than I do. What about you, Lori?
So I think that obviously you have to break the bags in to be able to see how you're going to throw with them. I really like to borrow other people's bags so that I, and kind of test them out that way. But I think one of the biggest things with signing with a bag company is the relationship that you have with the people who own the company. Right. So you obviously want to be on the same page with them. You want to be able to have an open line of communication. That helps you, that helps them, and just, kind of wanting to be part of their brand and making sure that it aligns with what you were trying to represent as well. So swag bags, I'm at the swag bag event tonight. We have our regional, our event. We're in a local league right now. So
Lori, does swag bags have anything to do with the swaggin' and baggin'?
Nope, two completely different things. It just happens to ironically work out that way.
Well, that's a perfect thing. And when we say swaggin' and baggin', that is a Florida organization.
Swaggin' and bagging is from my hometown of Lockport, New York. And then swag bags is in South Florida.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So Cornhole, who does swaggin' and baggin', that's New York.
Yep, that's in New York.
Gotcha now. Okay. He's a great guy, by the way. Rilee, we'll have to get him on it so you can interview him. He seems like he's got a fascinating life story. But what's your next? What other questions you got for Lori?
So, do any of your family members play cornhole?
So none of my family members have played cornhole before I started playing cornhole, but I've gotten my parents into at least participating and playing so they can, figure out the score. My brother is a lost cause because he is not very good at cornhole, but my niece and nephew are very good. So we're trying to get them into playing a little bit more, but they're busy with all of their other sports and activities. So anytime I can play with them, I'm happy to.
Yeah, sounds like my brother. My whole family likes to play, but except for him, because he's disappointed in himself.
Listen, to each their own, we all have our thing that we like to do. We can't force it. But I love that your parents play. Parents play too. Parents throw too, right? Sometimes.
Exactly.
Rilee plays with her dad sometimes, but it never seems to end well. She always says she'd prefer not to.
True.
What do you think? You think it's you? I was going to ask, like, Lori, do you think that sometimes there could be people that, like, personality-wise, you just can't partner up with?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I think it's just like, for an example, I'll give you a perfect example. Sam Finley and I just got an opportunity to play together for the first time at our conference. We played women's doubles together. And Sam and I have been friends, and I've adored watching her for the last 4 years. But I told her before we started playing, because her and Rosie play together, obviously all the time, and I get to watch them, that they're so nice to each other. Like someone will miss a bag and they'll be like, "Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it." And I told Sam before we started, you need to yell at me. If I'm like missing bags and things aren't going well, you need to just don't sugarcoat it. Let me know and we'll keep going. So I think that sometimes working out like different personality things is definitely interesting when you have never played with that person before. But I think that, playing in blind draws and playing as much as we normally do, I think that you start to figure out kind of the people that you gravitate towards and people that, are on the same page with you.
Yeah, I think you make a good point about just the general air of how one person plays, whether they are polite or quiet and offer no feedback, or whether they coach and hype you up. And every player prefers a certain one of those two extremes over the other. What about you, Rilee? Like, if you're blind draw partnered with somebody, do you want them to give you advice or tips or their thoughts on your game, or no?
I would like if they give me advice, but I wouldn't like them shouting at me because I'd just like them to say, okay, you need to calm down and just up the middle or lead me through it. But tons of hand movement and getting frustrated or yelling and screaming, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's an
I think
energy
so,
thing. It's more of an energy thing, not so much what you say, how they say it, I think. I really always ask, unless it's my husband, because I don't like being coached by him. Anybody else I get paired with, I say, I need you to tell me, because I'm very coachable, but I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. So what other questions are you interested in asking her before she has to go to her league?
Okay. I got from the site. I love your hat, Lori Dool. But do you always wear it when you play cornhole?
Hello, we have something in common, Lori. We are.
I was wondering because every time I watch you play on TV, you always got a hat on.
I do. I always have a hat on. And I don't know if that came from playing softball for so many years and always having a hat on. I feel more comfortable in it. I don't like to have my hair up when I play cornhole for whatever reason. So it just kind of keeps all the rest of my hair in place too. So I don't know.
I feel you on this one, Lori. First of all, I started it, I think, because we were backyard players and wind. I have like kind of like a sensitivity, like hairs in my face. I feel itchy and stuff. You'll see me a lot of times on the broadcast, like being like, like itching. It's because hair's blowing in my face on some capacity. So this kind of helps with that. That's how I started this habit. Then when you start a podcast, you only see this far up. So for branding purposes, it kind of makes sense to continue. But Lori and I are the hat people, aren't we, Rilee?
It does.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. People don't recognize me if I don't have a hat on.
I saw a picture of you at a basketball game and I didn't even know who it was without the hat. It's funny.
Exactly. So it just kind of became, it's a thing now. You can't go backwards.
Well, it also could get a superstitious type of feel too. Like if you win a lot when you wear a hat, you kind of stick to that same thing. Do you have any superstitions, Rilee?
No, I don't like to wear like anything that I don't wear hats because it gets in the way. It makes my head itch. It feels like whenever I put my head down and I go up, it looks like it's falling down off like
The
towards my
vision.
head.
Yeah.
I can't. I just like to wear something not so heavy. Usually jeans all the time because I love jeans and that's it.
Oh, we got a little Isidro on our hands. I love it.
So I really like to wear, but I'm starting to wear the fire cornhole leggings and I really like them going to school.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to maybe get some leggings from your sponsor now that you have one. Or us. Hello. We'll get you some.
Yeah, you guys too. I'm wearing almost all my cornhole clothes to school,
Yeah, that's cool about public school. You can just wear it. And did you know, Rilee, that Lori is in like education? Like that for a job? So she was a teacher for many years. What grade did you teach, Lori?
I have taught everything from pre-K to graduate level courses, but I spent a majority of my time as a high school teacher.
Wouldn't that be cool if Lori Dool was your teacher, Rilee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you would have to be my history teacher.
Yeah, I would be your history teacher.
Why do you say that? What makes you say history?
Because I like history and I'm doing really good at it so far.
Oh,
All my other classes, not so much.
she could probably make a really cool PE teacher too. We'd play a lot of cornhole.
This is very true. We absolutely would. But I was a history teacher for many years.
I was too. We also have this in common.
Yeah. Now I just teach the teachers how to teach history. So
Yeah.
it's fun.
What other crazy questions that we've probably never asked Lori Dool, or maybe somebody's never asked Lori Dool that kids come up with the greatest questions. That's why I think this KTT show is so fun, is because they're questions we never would have thought to ask you guys. So anything else, like as a younger player who's very talented in the game, Rilee, when you want to know, is there anything you want to know about how to get to where Lori is or anything like that?
Not really, but I've been wondering, you said that you were in North Carolina, that you were North Carolina, that you were wouldn't be at Virginia because you're doing a charity or a fundraiser or something. So Yeah.
I got to go up to Buffalo to go do a charity event with a former Buffalo Bills player. So he was a football player. And so we did a big charity event up there, and I got to go back to Buffalo, and my whole family got to come and watch me play cornhole. And I had a lot of family show up. Even my middle school PE teacher came to my tournament, which was really neat. And so it was a lot of fun. I got to go home and see a lot of my family and friends, and we're doing another one with Swaggin' and Baggin' Cornhole February 19th, and that one's in my actual hometown. So I'm going back up there to do another charity event. I chose to do to raise money this season for a charity that sponsors kids from low income families so that they can afford to play in sports programs in my hometown. So we're going to go back and raise some money for that.
That is so awesome. I love that. I love the giving back component that you put into this whole pro status. I do have to ask you, do either of y'all, when you're paired up, let's say like against a more well-known great player against them, like, do you guys get the same kind of nerves that I get when I play just about anybody in a competitive situation? Or is like, are you guys immune to this? I'm so confused about how this works.
I think I've started to get over it a little bit. Last season was very eye-opening. So my first open that I went to was in Myrtle Beach, and my first game was opening up against, I think it was both Matt and Brett Guy, Jamie Graham, Josh Holland. We played in our Crew Cup game, and we got annihilated in our Crew Cup game, but I played fantastic, and they, commended me on playing so well. I really love Crew Cup, and I'm actually pretty good at it because I slow down and take my time. And so in any event that, once you start playing bigger name players and all the people that you watch on TV and that you're watching, all over Facebook and social media, once you really start to play against a few of them, it gets a lot easier. So you just kind of have to put yourself out there and know that it's a learning opportunity.
Yeah, I can see that, because I remember at first it being very weird when we would go to the ACL events and we'd meet you guys. And it was like kind of like starstruck and just crazy. But now, like, y'all are my friends. So it's
Right.
it's a lot different now. More exposure and time together.
Because we're getting to know each other now.
Exactly.
A lot easier.
What about you, Rilee? Do you ever get a case of like the nerves?
Yeah, well, when I was a little younger, I'd play against lots of people that I wasn't so sure about. I'm like, oh boy, hope they don't she's not good, she's terrible and everything. So when I kept playing, I wasn't doing it good, so I got frustrated with myself. But now that I've been playing a lot longer, I've been doing a lot better, so I feel more comfortable whether I win or lose. So
it makes me feel better that at least you guys had some of the same emotions when you started out as I currently do. But we'll do like 2 more questions and then wrap up. One thing I did want to add, I'll do one and then Rilee can end with one. Maddie McBride, I heard her say, we asked her the other day. She said something about because I said, do you guys ever just have off days? Like sometimes I walk out there and I forget. It's like I've never thrown it back. And other times I'll walk out there and I'll do pretty well. So, but what I'm realizing is that when those times you don't do well, I can tell very soon on into throwing, this is not one of those, times. And if it's not a tournament and I'm not committed to stay and play, it's best just to walk away from me, because it's not going to probably get any better no matter what I do. Maddie calls that a slump. Do you guys have a slump situation ever? And if so, how do you deal? We'll start with you, Rilee.
Yeah, that sometimes happens to me sometimes. Like when I'm playing a regional, I get really sweaty. I'm like, oh boy, this is really big and I haven't really won one yet. So when I start throwing, I'm like, I'm terrible. So I just step away, sit down and just watch everyone play. I don't like to practice, nothing. So when the game starts, we go down back and then I'm like, this is a lot better, because I like playing against so when I play with someone, I know it's like, this is a real game. So I got to start really trying. I don't feel as scared as I was when I would get ready.
I can see that. What about you, Lori? Does this ever happen to you?
So it definitely happens. But slumps, I think, just like in baseball or softball, is more mental than it is physical.
Yeah.
You've got to figure out whatever is going on in your head and how to get it out of there. So, sometimes music works, sometimes looking at, pulling up like a podcast or reading like a couple of like different motivational quotes, or just trying to figure something out to alleviate whatever that issue is. But I feel like the worse I warm up before a game, the better I'm going to play because I'm already mad at myself. And, just like Rilee said, you're telling yourself you got to get it together because this is game time. Then I feel like if I warm up really well, then I'm kind of a little bit more relaxed and then I don't play as
Yes.
So
This is a phenomenon. I think is actually out there in existence for sure.
Yeah.
than
I
other
just like-
people.
I just like to throw airmails the whole time while I'm practicing. So that I get all the everything out of my system. So
I
I
get
all
that.
set up to the zone. So when I play, I'm like, this is easy because I try to do some airmails for fun.
Yeah, I get everything y'all are saying. You guys are so relatable, but not relatable at the same time because you're freakishly good. But it's fascinating to me. What about Rilee? Pick on one last question that you are dying to know before we send her off to league.
So I know that you've probably won some big tournaments. Have you won any trophies? If you have, how many trophies have you won?
So that is a great question. I have an actual trophy I won the ACL Pro Shootout #2 last year in Albany. And I have a glass trophy, and that's probably the nicest trophy that I have. And then I just won my first conference title with Sam Finley last weekend. And that's my first wooden plaque, right? The ones that look like cornhole boards.
Yeah.
That's the first one I've ever won. So that one is near and dear and already up on the shelf with all of the rest of them. But, we've won medals at USA Cornhole when I was up there in Myrtle Beach. So those are also really neat, and those are up there, and they're not a trophy, but they're just as good.
They're
We won
close
the gold.
enough.
Yep,
They're just as valuable as a trophy.
absolutely. So you got to keep all of those. In fact, I've kept some sets of bags along the way. So if I've won with them, or my first big tournament that I went to and I did really well was in the Land Shark co-ed tournament, and I kept those bags. We took second, but that was probably the best tournament I had ever played. And it kind of put me on the map to become, very successful. It was just that was my trampoline moment, if you will. So then I just kind of kept going from there. So those are near and dear, even though they weren't a trophy, they're just as much of a trophy to me.
Do you have a good trophy collection, Rilee?
No, not really. I only have 2 trophies really.
Well, you
I have this really
also
big
have a
one.
lot of time to build onto that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
have a really tall one from TTK at our last league, and I have a baseball little league trophy, which I don't like, but I'll take it anyway. So
Trophies are trophies. I'm still just working on getting one of those pictures where you get to stand at the boards and do a number one sign. Just one. That's all I just want at once. That's all I'm seeking. But
Listen, it took me almost 2 years to get a first place podium picture. So you're in good company.
okay, that makes me feel so much better.
You're
Thanks,
in good
Laura.
company. Don't
Thank
put too much pressure on it, and just, go out there and have a good time.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do because there's really no other option at this point for me. I'll get there. I just find small baby step goals might be best for me because otherwise I was getting crazy frustrated. If you
Yeah.
set a number for a PPR or something for yourself, the likelihood of you meeting it is probably slimmer than it would be that you meet it for people like me. So that just makes you demotivated. You're sad. I'd
Right.
rather lowball it. Maybe this time you get 3 bags on the board or in the hole every time, and you only burn 1 for this round. That's it. That's all I need to do, and I feel like I've succeeded. So it's just it's a mental game, and it's a goal setting game, and it's a difficult game, and I'm very impressed with both of you. Rilee, anything else before we let her go?
not really.
Well, she's going to be a star, isn't she? Both on the cornhole boards and on the microphone, Lori.
Absolutely.
And hey, Rilee, I think you picked really, really great choice for your first
Yeah.
interview. Hey,
Yeah.
Lori, who do you think she should go for next to interview?
That's a great question. I think that if I had an opportunity does it have to be a player or can it be anybody?
Well, she's participating in one with all of the 3 girl hosts, KTT hosts with Trey Ryder this week,
Okay.
later in the week. So I think that's exciting. So that's not a player. I would just say anybody.
I
But
think,
it's gotta be somebody I can get on the show, maybe.
well, if I could pick anybody to interview, because I from a different mentality of understanding cornhole, I would pick Anthony Ayone, because he is a very brilliant gentleman who could help you understand the cornhole science. He definitely has some interesting perspectives. So I think he would be fun to
He's
interview.
fascinating, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And then I'm going to pick Miranda Coy. I'm going to pick Miranda Coy because she is so much fun, and I think that she would do a great job. She's always involved with KTT. She's playing with Trevor. She's playing with Bella. Not that Bella's really a kid, but she's really active in getting kids on board and participating with them, and just being such a great advocate for them. So that would be my player pick.
We absolutely love Miranda Coy, girls there too, and kids there too. But I love the friendship you guys have started. I love seeing it. I love, you are like a little older sister to her, and I like how it's playing out. I think
People think I'm her mother, but that's fine.
People are silly then, because you do not look like Miranda Coy's mother. Not that Miranda Coy's mother is actually a very beautiful human, but
Yes,
but you look too young to be anybody's mom who's over the age of 10.
I could be, but it's fine.
But I'm saying you look young.
Yeah.
All right. So Rilee, we'll have to talk about, other than the one coming up with Trey. Maybe we got to get Anthony or Miranda on with you next. And then next time I'm gonna intro and then sign off, because you got this.
Okay.
You got this. You're good there. I have the faith. You got asked.
Thank
Great
you, Lori.
questions. Thank you so much. Good luck tonight, Lori.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you for
Riley. This was so much fun. I
Yeah,
appreciate
really.
you picking me.
Yeah, I'm really glad to have you on.
Yep.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Excellent job.
Thank you.
Wait, let me stop the recording so we can edit that part, and we don't have a lot more to do. Let me see. More. Stop recording.